What is going on? Hello to all my HPP faithful members and to anyone new to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Adam Coleman and I am the host of the Human Performance Project / WoofWorks. WoofWorks is the new implementation of videos that I will be putting on about my dogs and our training chronicles. And the Human Performance Project is pretty much all things human that make us who we are, or me who I am, I guess. So I wanted to broach a topic that I'm sure you guys out there have noticed before. When I was at the dog park a couple days ago, I was walking up and I see, I'm gonna lovingly refer to him as the token homeless dog whisperer, because I'm sure that you guys have encountered one of these before. There's sometimes a homeless or homeless looking individual who will have a dog or two or five who thinks that he knows all things about dogs and training them. Sometimes these guys have a pretty good grip on their animals and a great relationship with them. Sometimes it's awful and it's just a liability waiting to happen. And so I'm always very wary when I approach someone that kind of falls in that category, unfortunately, of what the behavior from both of them, the dog and the person, is gonna be like until, decide to get comfortable. So as we got to our dog park here in Bakersfield the other morning, we were the only ones there, and then as we kind of rounded the corners of the sump, I see this gentleman who, again, there's nothing wrong with him, but he was shirtless and just a little slovenly and wearing sandals with socks, and he looked like someone who has unfortunately had to live a harder life. And as someone who has been homeless and someone who has dealt with addiction, plural, I can read people pretty well. I've been around a lot of different kinds of people and a lot of different life circumstances, and so I'm not judging, but I am always aware of who's around me and what's going on. Anyway, this guy, he was nice enough. We started a conversation right away. I asked, what his dog's name was, and he told me all about Cleo. And Cleo was off leash, and I left Harley and Pepper on just till they decided that they were all going to get along, and then I let them off again. And Cleo was great, dude. She was super hyper. She was like the only dog that's been able to keep up with Pepper and run with her for a while, so that was nice. I can't remember the gentleman's name now, but he and his girlfriend or wife were there, and they were both super nice people. It was nice to meet them. And then this nice family comes up, two German Shepherds, large German Shepherds, one male that was every bit of 80 pounds, and then a smaller one that was probably 6-8 month old, 50 pound, both boys. And the wife, she starts out with well, our dogs are kind of hyper around other dogs, and I'm not really sure how they're gonna do. Okay, well, I'm sort of familiar with some of that behavior, so let's just bring them in on leash and let's see how everyone feels about it. We'll let them decide and tell us. And so once again, the dogs are allowed to do what dogs do, sniff each other, feel each other out. And then when it was obvious that everyone's hair and ears and teeth were gonna stay where they were supposed to, let him back off the leash, and they were having a good old time for, 30 minutes or so. Harley got tired of being the object of affection of the oldest German Shepherd after a little while, and she kind of snapped at him. But it was just really interesting to see the different ways that people handle their dogs. On the one hand, this gentleman that didn't have a lot, right? But he was a pretty happy guy. Like he was bright-eyed. He was making eye contact when you spoke with him. He wasn't like shifty or weird at all. He just, like I said, he just looked like he's had to work a little harder for some of the things that he's had, which is fine. And then this family that showed up, they're the other end of the spectrum. They get out of a new Suburban with, some aftermarket rims and windows tinted and stuff on it. And again, I'm not judging. They look like they were comfortable, just the way that they were dressed and everything, and good for them. But they were so much more concerned about their dogs. Like they were just like, oh God, are they going to be okay? To whereas the person who doesn't have anything but the dog is just like, yeah, get the fuck in there and be a dog, go ahead. And it was just interesting for me to watch the different dynamics of people, dogs, age groups, you know, tiers of life, I guess, as far as your financial status and stuff. Um, it was just a really good morning. It was a good experience to be able to meet and get along with everybody, and just kind of, you know, put our best paws and feet forward. Hey, settle. Good girl. So what I wanted to ask about was the whole homeless individuals with dogs. Okay, so on one hand, if you can't feed yourself, why the hell do you have another living being depending on you? That's not fair. On the other hand, I've seen some of these people, and they will feed their dogs before they feed themselves sometimes. So again, this is not a blanket statement. I'm not saying that every person who is residentially challenged, shall we say, is a poor pet owner. And I'm not saying that everyone that lives in upper middle class suburbia is a good pet owner, because there are horrible examples in both spectrums. But what is your guys' opinion out there with the homeless people owning dogs? A part of me thinks, you know what? It would be a good idea to maybe just put on like a free class in an area where there's a large homeless concentration once a month, 3 times a year, whatever, for the people that are out there that want information on how to better communicate with their dog and how to better achieve results with behavioral changes, you know? Because I'm sure that there's people out there that, I mean, if I was homeless, I would want a dog, for sure, for multiple reasons. Companionship, safety, body warmth, you know, and probably even a helper for gathering food at some point in time if you train them well enough. So it's hard for me to say, like, yeah, homeless people shouldn't have dogs, because your dogs go crazy and knock the camera over because they can't afford to feed them. You know, money should not be the determining factor on whether or not people get to experience happiness and unconditional love. And those are 2 things that dogs bring in abundance. So, you know, on that side of the coin, like, it's very easy for me to see how it's almost necessary for a person that's in that situation to have a dog. But then again, the other side of the coin, is it fair for the dog? Because then you have some people who are drug addicted, mentally ill, or just completely non-functioning to where they don't have any hustle, they don't bring in any kind of money to be able to feed the dog or themselves. They're totally relying off panhandling. So the dog's not going to get vaccinated, it's not going to get fixed or spayed. It's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna get the basic care that it deserves and needs, so that it doesn't negatively affect the community as a whole. Because if, you know, one dog gets parvo and it's untreated and that spreads, I mean, it's a big problem. So yeah, I was curious to see what some different opinions would be. So, you know, please comment, contact me on another forum if you feel more comfortable. Again, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is refuse.conformity.11. Facebook is just Adam Coleman. Or like I said, you can feel free to leave a comment here on the YouTube page, the Human Performance Project. But I am going to continue to get better with the content and the filming as I get more and more accessories that I find out I need along the way. This is all kind of new to me, so it's a work in progress, but I've definitely decided that working with dogs is what I want to do going forward for career choice. You know, there are some advantages, I guess, to starting life late. I didn't really get myself going until I was about 35 years old, somewhere in there. A lot of stuff I missed out on. A lot of stuff I got to do as a younger man, but a lot of stuff that I should have been doing that I didn't do as well or enough of because of my addictions and my lifestyle choices prior to today. So now I realize I can't really make up for lost time, but I damn sure I'm gonna make the best of the time that I have remaining. So the upside to being 40 and then finally figuring out what the hell you want to do with yourself is you've got a decent amount of life knowledge to carry along the way. So dealing with other personalities and different types of employees, bosses, things of that nature, hopefully it'll be a little bit more manageable and less aggravating. again, that's another reason why I'm so adamant about staying with the dogs, because I feel like they've taught me a lot of that. Just tolerance, understanding, non-judgment, and unconditional love, you know? My dogs, Pepper especially, she's gone through a lot with me in the 3 years that she's been with me, and some of it she shouldn't have had to, but she never left my side, you know? She never stopped loving me, she never stopped being a good dog. And then we found Harley, and Harley's made a way into our home now too, and everything's going pretty well so far. And I've just really come to a place where, you know, I appreciate and respect so much what I have received from my dogs, you know, and I seriously don't know if I'd be here without them, because at times when I thought I was done, I thought I was broken, I didn't think that I had anything left in the tank. It's harder to sit around and be a piece of shit when you have another living thing that's depending on you, you know? So they get me up in the morning, they help me stay in a routine and do things that I don't necessarily want to do, but such is life. And if you want to be a man in this world, it's about what needs to be done, not what you want to do. So they help me out a lot with that. And they definitely teach me patience. They definitely keep me grounded, keep me in the moment, not thinking about what I'm gonna have for lunch next Thursday, or about a conversation I had last Friday that I need to, you know, make amends for, or whatever, or feel like they need to make amends for. Yeah, they're just a much more grounded life form than humans on the whole. And the humans that I have met that feel the same way I do are all pretty awesome people. I haven't met someone who claims to be a dog person, a real dog person, that's just a total jerk. I really haven't, you know? Or cat people for that matter. They might be different, but they're not jerks. I love cats too. I love all animals, don't get me wrong. I'm just too sensitive, because cats sometimes don't show you affection, and I can't have that. I have to have something, you know, simple-minded like me that loves me unconditionally. Come on, Pepper. Yeah. So that's my question to you guys. How do you feel about the ownership of pets by residentially challenged individuals? There, that's as politically correct as I can say it. So don't you dare try to make me feel bad for shaming homeless people or using pronouns or any of that bullshit. Oh yeah, by the way, I cuss on this channel, I'll mention God on this channel, and I'm not a professional, so don't take anything I say too seriously, but I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Sometimes. Harley doesn't agree, but anyway, thank you for sharing my ramblings. Please like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what your answer to that question is and why, you know? And also some feedback on that idea about, you know, trying to maybe educate people about pet ownership, maybe working with the local animal shelters and just dropping off like collapsible water bowls and some slip leashes and, I don't know, little things that they could spare maybe here and there. Setting up like a mobile, like a motor home and doing a spay-neuter clinic or a rabies vaccine clinic or something like that. I mean, all we'd really have to do is head down to the bike path under the bridge by the river, and we could probably knock out 100 pet owners in a day, easy. I mean, the homeless problem is really growing, you know, and that's alarming for multiple reasons. But I'm grateful today that I have this phone to record on. I have a house over my head while I do it, and I have 2 dogs that love me that I can feed. So I got everything I need and nothing I don't. I hope you guys are in a similar or better place. And like I said, aside from the dogs and everything else, as I mentioned, I've been in places in my life that were not great. If you or anyone you know is at all struggling with any kind of addiction, I don't care if it's cupcakes, crack, porn, whatever. Like, there's really nothing you could tell me or come at me with that I haven't dealt with or experienced a little bit in my life. So never any judgment, always an honest answer. Those are 2 things that I can promise you from me. Anyway, you guys enjoy yourselves on the rest of this Tuesday evening. Thank you again for watching. Till next time, be good humans, love your pets, and love each other.